So we are going to continue with this tutorial, and we are going to learn more about the if condition. Okay. In the last two tutorials, we talked about the if condition. It is nothing but the conditional construct. Okay. It is not sequential. It is not the iterative construct. Fine. But it is nothing but the conditional construct, which allows us to select a right condition. Fine. So we will start with few more programs, and then maybe we will understand how and why to use the if condition. So let's start. So problem statement is something like this. I will give the comment to it. Okay, and we will try to write down the program. So here you can see that you have to accept the marks, right? Because below 25, then F grade, 25 to 45, E grade, etc. have been given. So I'll have to take the marks from the user. So I'll have to say marks as a variable. Okay, it is, please understand that it is better that if you write down the correct variable names, because if you are going to write down the marks, you are going to enter the marks, and then you are going to accept the marks, and if you write down A, B, C or such type of variables, it will not have any meaning. So use full names for the program names, use full names for the variable names are expected. Fine, and they should not be the keywords also. So I have taken the value of marks over here, and then I'm going to write down a program in such a way that if marks greater than 80, fine, print you got A grade. Okay, and you can write here elif marks greater than 60 and marks less than 80. Okay, if I write here greater than equal to 80 would be more correct, and if I have written here greater than equal to 80, then here again equal to will not come, because the thing is, if I am talking about this particular A grade, is we are talking about A grade as greater than equal to 80, then less than 80 would be obviously some other grade. Okay, so don't make the mistake by giving the same value again. So understand what are you giving. Okay, so I would write you got B grade. Now the thing is, I'm going to execute this, because see, this is a type of you understand to write it down, say uh, for the few conditions. Don't write down the program at a time for all the conditions. If suppose you have say 8 to 10 conditions, it would be very difficult for you if suppose the error comes. Okay, or errors come, that would be more appropriate. Okay, then that time it would be difficult for you to find out the errors. So is it not better to write down small chunks of the program, or we can say a modular programming. Okay, so I'll say print uh, you have got uh, marks less than say 60, and here also I will write it down something like this. Fine, and I will write down here greater than equal to 60, and here less than 80, because greater than equal to 80 has been taken into consideration. So I would try to execute this program, and this is about the user marks or the student marks, so I would give the program name accordingly. So I would say student marks, and then I would try to execute it. It's giving me an error. Okay, I'll have to check that, because I have not given here double quotes have not been completed. So you have to understand, by practicing and practicing, it will be easier for you. So now if I say 61, you can see here you got B grade. Fine, in this manner we can write down the code, and I would continue this now. You can see here I have written the program, and the other thing is, please keep it in mind, when you are going to give the logical condition or logical operator, you have to give that variable name at both the places. Okay, marks greater than equal to 60 and less than 80. Don't write it down like that, because it will not come to know what are you comparing exactly. So you'll have to give that variable at both the ends. Okay, so you can see here greater than equal to 80, then you got A grade. Greater than equal to 60 and less than 80, you got B grade. Greater than equal to 50, less than 60, you got C grade. Greater than equal to 45, less than 50, you got D grade. Greater than equal to 25 marks, less than 45, you got F grade. Else print wrong input. Okay, now obviously below 25 there was no need to give it, so I gave wrong input. If suppose the user gives A, okay, or if the user gives 0, okay, then or minus some value, then that time the wrong input has to be printed. Fine. So I think it must be understood by you all, and I would try to execute it. Yeah, it's asking me the value. See, wrong input it is giving me. Fine. If I execute it again, and you can see here, say 45, it is giving me the D grade. Fine. So I suppose it is easy for you. Now, if I want to convert it into the nested if, so we will try to understand that. You can see here I have given the nested if. Inside elif, it won't be again elif. Huh? Please keep it in mind. Elif would be the sub condition, or rather the next condition of if. Okay, so if we have given if over here, next would be elif. Fine. The next one would be elif. But if suppose I want to give one more condition inside elif, then it would be if. Okay, so elif marks greater than equal to 60, and I didn't give and over here. Okay, so when you talk about the logical operator and the nested if, they are interchangeable. They interchangeably used. Okay, so if suppose you talk about elif marks greater than equal to 60 and marks less than 80, instead of that I remove that and condition and I give if marks less than 80. So here it is going to take the combination of these two conditions. Okay, and you got B grade. So if suppose I execute here and I give that particular range, okay, if I give the range as 76, you can see here it is between the range and you got B grade. It has given. Other thing is, why did I start from the last condition? Why didn't I start from here? Because I am comfortable with this in such a way that I would start with the highest value greater than equal to 80 and then I would come down. Okay, and there are chances if suppose you write it down from this particular condition, the lower value or the lowest value, there are chances that you might skip or you might miss, okay, either of the range. Okay, so in this manner I have written the program, so I hope it must be clear to you, and you can also write it down like this. The next program which I am going to take is the one which has been given over here. I would just show you what is it. Okay, and you have to a type of calculator you are going to write it down. Obviously we don't know the loops yet, so we can't ask the user to enter it again and again, but that's not an issue. We are going to write down this program again with the help of loops later once we learn the loops. That is one thing. Second thing is when we would be learning the tkinter, okay, that is GUI programming or GUI programming of Python, okay, a tkinter, then that time we would be writing and we will be creating a type of calculator. How do we see it? Fine, you can check that program on the YouTube videos whichever are present, and other YouTube videos whichever are present, so you please go through them. It will solve your doubt maybe. So we will start with it now. So obviously when I'm going to do the arithmetic operations, I would need minimum 2 operations, that's for sure. Okay, it is not possible to find out something, some arithmetic operation with respect to one operand. Okay, then obviously I would say here a equal to, or I can write it down, say num1 and say num2. So I would be writing it down as int of input of, I can take the float value also, so enter number 1, and then I would write it down here num2 equal to int of input of enter number 2. Fine, and then once I execute this, okay, once I write it down, I would have to take the option also. Option is nothing but the sign, the symbol. Okay, so I can say an option, or I can say OPT. Because see, if you keep your variables as simple as that, and you can write them down very easily that way and understandable, it's better. So option is opt, I know, and then option I'll have to take it as, say, any symbol, any arithmetic operator. So I would say here I'm not going to give here int of input of, because the thing is it would be a character. Okay, so enter a symbol, or enter an arithmetic operator. Fine. And in this manner I wrote it, so I'll have to take it from the user. Fine. So I'm going to give it in a single quote, okay, or double quotes. So that would be plus or minus or multiplication or division, etc., etc. Fine. So now I would have to write down if opt equal to. See, this is a relational operator. This is not assignment. Okay. So it is relational operator. And if I write it down here, plus, okay, I would say, say, I would say num3 equal to num1 plus num2. Fine. And I would say here print the sum is, it would be something like whatever I'm giving. So I'll say here num3. Fine. Then obviously I'll have to give the next operation, and that would be nothing but with respect to the next operation as, say, minus. Okay, and then I would say num3. See, now you might get confused that why I'm giving like this. Okay, because num3 has been given on the top, it would be overwritten. But see, please keep it in mind, either of the condition is going to get executed, either plus or minus or multiplication or division. Okay, so if I give num3 everywhere, it is not going to make any problem. Okay, I would say here print subtraction result is, okay, and I would say here num3, and then I would stop writing over here because I want to show you this much. If this much runs, then obviously it won't be any problem. Print, I would write invalid symbol. If suppose I give some other symbol like exclamation mark, or say if I give greater than sign. Okay, obviously these symbols are important, but those symbols doesn't have any meaning at this moment. Okay, so I will have to execute this. Okay, and I will save it. It is giving me an error. Okay, okay, sorry, my mistake, I gave two brackets because there was no need, right? Because I had not given int of input of. I have a habit of giving that. Okay, so enter number 1, I'll say 6. Enter number 2, I'll have 7. Arithmetic operation plus, it gave me 13. So if my one symbol, or my arithmetic operation for one symbol, if it ran or executed properly, obviously it would execute for the others. So I will say here, just a minute, huh? It would be better if I give it like this, and it would be better if I give it like this. The thing is, there would be a proper delimiter given. Okay, so we would write the remaining program. We will execute the program now. I have added a few more lines, rather few more operations. By the way, I will give equal to deliberately. It would give me some other thing. It is giving me an error. Actually, I wanted to check whether how does it run with respect to some other symbol, nothing else. Okay, I will again execute it. Wait. Okay, I will go for, say, multiplication. It is giving me an error, but if I give here, it's giving me an error. I'll have to check why it is giving that. It is giving me value. Okay, so I'll execute it now. You can see here I have to give a number and I was giving a symbol there, so it was giving me an error. Okay, so it is asking me to enter the invalid, the operator. I am giving star. It is giving me 3015. It is not minus, huh? This I have given in my program, in my print statement. Fine. Okay, so it has been given. If suppose I execute it as with some other symbol now, okay, which is not given only, so I'll say here 67, I'll say here 12. It is not minus 67, it is not minus 12, huh? Please understand, this is given in my program under print statement. Now if I give here some other symbol, say if I give it as say this one, it will give me invalid symbol. Okay, and one more thing you have to keep it in mind, you can give either in single quote this one, or you can give it in the double quotes. Fine, and please write down the modular programming, please write down the chunk of the code and execute. And I suppose by the for the other two operators, okay, you can try it on your own. So this ends the tutorial, and this was all about the if condition. I suppose it must be easier and helpful for you. Thank you, stay tuned.